Tuesday, March 19th, 2024, regular board meeting. Can I have a roll call?
Mrs. Theodore? Here. Mrs. McPhillips? Here. Mrs. Urbach Barnfield? Here. Mrs. Deck? Here. Mrs. Lava? Here. Mr. Berardi? Mr. Trabuzio?
Here. We have a quorum. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance led by the First District Spelling Bee Champion Scholastic Bowl record. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, celebrate the success.
Okay, for Giles School, we are excited. First of all, welcome everyone to Giles School. Thank you for coming here. Nice to see everyone. First, I'd like to congratulate Ella. Ella, you want to stand up? Come on up here, Ella. Come over here, Ella. Ella is a 6th grade student here at Giles School, and she won first place here in the spelling bee here at Giles School. She went on to West 40's regional, competed, and took first place there.
Woo-hoo.
So now she's moving on to what level are you? Do you know what level you're moving on to next? That was regionals qualifier. So now you're moving on to regionals. And then what happens after regionals? I hear there may be a trip planned or something. Nationals. Where's that at? Washington, D.C. So there may be an opportunity, so we wish her much success. So you're going to be competing in how many days? 7 days. Okay, so we all wish you the best. We'll all be rooting for you. So congratulations. Yeah, let's give her a nice round of applause. So tell us when you are taking, when they're giving you those tough words, what goes through your mind? But that works, huh? Good job. Well, thank you so much. You've done an amazing job. What we're going to do, I'm going to have you, if I would like to go back, and we're going to come back up and take a group picture in a little bit. I'm now going to talk about our scholastic bowl team.
Thank you.
So let's give it up for Ella. And I understand she made Channel 7 News tonight. So,
Yes.
yeah. So watch Channel 7 News and you should see Ella on the news, or a picture of her on the news. Now our Scholastic Bowl team, if I could have members of our Scholastic Bowl team come on up. And so our Scholastic Bowl team is led by Miss Mack. Did a wonderful job with our students, our teams. So our varsity team had an amazing regular season. They went 8-0. So congratulations to our varsity team. They were crowned the 2024 champions for the Latin North Athletic Conference for the regular season. So that's really exciting. And our junior varsity team went 5-4. So they had a great season. And as you can see the pictures of the members of the junior varsity, and then previously was the varsity. So the varsity overall record, overall, if I had that right, was 4-1?
The tournament, yeah.
At the tournament, thank you. So at the tournament, the varsity team went 4-1, and the junior varsity went 3-2. And we had John Luca and Lara both had high scores for the varsity and the junior varsity, and they received a trophy. So congratulations to them on earning that high score trophy for the team and for Giles. And there's some action shots at the tournament. And the tournament was held at the Donald B. Stevens Convention Center. If I could have everyone just share briefly your experience, your thoughts, whatever you'd like to share. Put you on the spot first. Well, during the regular season or at the tournament?
It was really fun, and I really love the question because, like, sometimes I know it and nobody else would, so I'm going, woo woo.
finished all of the on, especially getting high score for the second year of hunting, and that was really fun doing all this over again.
It was very fun. I met a lot of great people.
Which team was the toughest team out of all the conference teams?
Not really.
Union Ridge was tough.
That was it.
Well, that's good. That's good. So let's give it up for our scholastical team. Let's back up and let's take a picture with the Board of Education. Do we want to do one big one or two separate? One big one. Okay. Once again, I'd like to thank our scholastical team and Paula. We're coming here to the March board meeting to celebrate our success. Thank you all for coming.
You certainly are invited to stay with the rest of the meeting, however, I understand if you have other events this evening. Good luck, Ella. Be careful, Mrs. Yaki's gonna try to come with
educational excellence in the nurturing environment. And now on to action item. Consider motion to approve the agenda as presented, modified. Or modified as presented. Can I get a motion? Lauren and Molly, roll call please.
Mrs. Erbach Barnfield,
Yes.
Mrs. Deck,
Yes.
Mrs. Theodore,
Yes.
Mrs. McPhillips,
Yes.
Mrs. Lala,
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo.
Yes. The motion passes. Recognition of visitors, thank you for being here. Don't feel any pressure that you have to stay. I'm just gonna get pretty bored.
It's pretty exciting.
Any correspondence?
Nope.
Any public participation?
Did any of you sign in to talk?
No? No? Okay. Administrative reports, Superintendent Mrs. Cruiser.
Great, I just have a couple of things I wanted to mention. Illinois released a new grant this week that is called the Stronger Connections Grant, which I put in a letter of intent for yesterday. This grant covers a lot of different things. It can cover a lot of different things within the district. I put it in for some infrastructure things that we need for safety around the district. So we're hoping that that comes through. The actual RFP is not due until April 6th, so I'll be working on that. It could be anywhere between 100 would be the least amount, and 177,000. So it would be exciting if we get that. So I will try for that. I wanted to mention also that yesterday I attended a community mental health meeting in Norwich, along with representatives from both the Police Department of Norwich and Howard Heights, the library, Union Ridge, Panoyer, Ridgewood. I think that was it. And just starting the discussion about community health in the community, and trying to put together what resources we currently have right now that we can all share together and that we can utilize each other's resources, and then also a wish list of things we want to work towards. We are expanding and inviting a couple other people to the meeting next month. We're trying to have the Salvation Army there as well, Norwood Park Township, and a couple other areas in Norwich and Howard Heights, in order to kind of boost our group together and share our resources, and hopefully be able to expand the needs for mental health in Norwich and Howard Heights. was really exciting. It was our first meeting yesterday. NAMI, as I've mentioned to you many times, the National Alliance of Mental, I'm forgetting what the guys for it. Thank you, illness. Has been doing Monday night meetings that have been open forum meetings for parents if they're looking for any support on any home issues. And it's really kind of exciting. We just sent out the we just sent out the flyer that they are now putting some topics on those nights. So like their next night is April 18th, and their topic is helping kids manage their anger and frustration. And those are now held at the library, and they're open to all of Norwich and Howard Heights. That is part of our community grant that we have here in Norwich, and we're hoping that parents come out for that night and hear some great information and get some good connections. And finally, we started registration. Currently, we have 16 preschoolers registered for next year, 11 full-time kindergartners, and 2 half-day kindergartners. It is important to note that registration for preschool and kindergarten is done in person, and it is very important now, especially with preschool, to register and get a spot in for the PFA grant. So just because you have it this year doesn't automatically guarantee that spot for next year. So reaching out to parents who are listening to this, hopefully at home, if you have a preschooler, come and sign up for registration. The information is on our website, a link where you can sign up for a time. We have 3 or 4 different dates in April. And that's it.
Good.
Thank you.
Next, we have special education, Mr. Masters.
Just as kind of a celebration for our department, I had the opportunity earlier last month, I guess, or late last month, to go down to the IAAC conference in Champaign. It's a conference where a number of special education administrators across the state are able to come together, collaborate, talk about some new changes to the field of special education, trying to see where everything is going. Some of the big features this year: student evaluations, child-fied obligations across pre-K through 8, and then outside medical evaluations. So lots of information to be shared. So I'm making sure that comes back to our department so that we are as well informed as can be. A couple other pieces that we've been working through, goal updates. So with the end of the trimester, we make sure that all of the individualized goals that our children are working towards have had some sort of progress check on them and are sent home, so that the parents are also receiving that alongside grade reports. Again, making sure that we are keeping with those goals, making sure we're making adequate progress. And then this will directly impact our SPED data days when we sit down and kind of determine what do we need to do to action on those specific goals for the remainder of the school year. Just due to some scheduling conflicts, we ended up pushing that out to April, but we are fully intending to do that for the last remaining trimester of the school year. Another great opportunity, I was able to do an inclusion in preschool collaboration with several individuals across the state. Inclusion, kind of just talking a lot about making sure that individuals with disabilities are supported within the classroom, same as gen ed peers, but with modifications, accommodations, etc. It was really great. I was able to bring some of that back, talk with our preschool teachers, and see where we still need to grow, but yet also recognizing that we are doing quite a bit really well for our students. So very proud of the work that team has done. The last bit is we've also started making progress on the DLM. So for a majority of students across the district, we take IAR. That is the standardized test for a good portion of our 99.9% of the students. But for those who have a unique cognitive profile, specifically children who have an IQ less than 55, we do need to present a different type of assessment, and that is actually directly run through a different organization. So we have started that. We are on the way to getting that. So we are well on our way. We should have that done by the May 15th deadline, or 13th deadline. So that is my report.
Thank you. Good reports. Giles School, Mr. Biedke.
I'd like to congratulate the members of the Giles Concert Band who earned a Division I Superior Honor, the highest honor possible at the Illinois Grade School Musical Association District 7 Organizational Contest this past Saturday at Clarendon Hills Middle School. The Giles Band members performed along with 9 other junior high bands from the suburbs. The band members were responsible for preparing 3 works in contrasting styles. and were judged by 3 band clinicians in the areas of intonation, tone quality, balance, blend, interpretation, and stage presence. The students were awarded first place medals that they will wear on their uniforms at concerts. A permanent award will hang in the Giles Band Room. So great job and congratulations to our concert band here at Giles School. Conferences continue this Thursday, March 21st from 4 to 8. It'll be the last conference for the year. As a reminder, all parents in attendance here for the conferences, their child will receive 100 PBIS points through the PBIS Rewards app. Washington, D.C. field trip update. As a reminder, the field trip for our 8th graders is May 20th through the 22nd. I will be working with the boys and the girls for student roommate matching. That'll actually begin tomorrow for the girls. I'm meeting with all the girls during lunchtime to kind of figure out roommates at the hotel. And then the boys, I will be meeting with the boys on the trip on Thursday of this week. We have 26 boys going and 23 girls attending the Washington, D.C. field trip. I do have a mandatory parent meeting on Tuesday, April 23rd, here at Giles School in the gym from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We'll be discussing everything that the parents need to know for the trip for their child. But we're really excited for this upcoming trip. On May 13th is our Springfield trip for the 7th graders. That is a one-day trip. We'll be picked up here at school by Coach Bus, be taken down to Springfield, and then come back later in the evening. We have our Giles Book Fair presented by PTA. That'll take place April 9th through the 12th here at the LMC upstairs. Our supply list for school year 24-25 was released and was given to the PTA who are working on the supply kits, which was very successful this school year. So they'll be working on that for next school year. Girls basketball season ended. They had a wonderful season. They worked really hard. Battle of the Books season has ended too. That consisted of 17 5th and 6th graders. They had fun and a competitive season. The students read many books and took second place. Miss Quitno, which was the advisor for Battle of the Books, was very proud of their hard work and even more proud of their Giles-made attitude. And currently going on for the spring athletic season is girls soccer. Tryouts began yesterday, will continue tomorrow, Wednesday, and boys volleyball also took place on Monday, and second tryout will take place tomorrow. So we wish them luck as they get started in the spring season. And that concludes my report.
Good. That's a really good news about Giles Band. Let's not forget 6-7 years ago, the band program at Giles was a serious threat and discontinued. And look how far they came. Lee, Dr. Ravioli.
Thank you. So I want to say congratulations to the Lee Battle of the Books teams as well. Although they did not place in the top 3, we're extremely proud of their hard work, the amount of books that they read, and more importantly, hoping that it inspires a lifelong love of reading. We also would like to thank the PTA for providing some food for our teachers during that first night of conferences, and also for providing snacks for all of our students during IAR testing. So that was greatly appreciated. It's a long morning of testing, so having a little snack is definitely the highlight of the morning. So sometimes it's the little things. Also want to extend a thank you to the North Park Township for contributing $5,000 towards the purchase of an interactive board to utilize as part of our STEAM classroom for next school year. So we're really excited about that. Right now we have the book fair that's ongoing at Lee that will end on Thursday. And the book fair is open for parents to shop with their child during those conference times as well. We We have an early release on Friday, a 1:10 release, and during the day we also have some other excitement planned with our 4th grade students versus staff basketball game, or as part of the Kids Heart Challenge. And also, all students will be able to attend that game, but we also have a fun halftime event with some rock, paper, scissors tournament that'll be taking place. And then we had some students that were interested in doing a couple cheers, so they got a little routine to share as well. So we're really excited about that. So our school culture and climate committee designed an exciting incentive as part of our lunch periods during the month of March, really trying to focus on positive lunchroom behaviors. So the whole premise is that if students are caught being good at lunch, that their classroom earns points, and the class with the most points during each lunch period will win a free freeze pop during lunch on the 21st, so coming up on Thursday. So just a nice way to add an incentive to get kids all working on those positive behaviors with a little incentive there to encourage some of that buy-in. So just wanted to put that out there. It's been exciting to see different grade levels responding to freeze pop. And that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? What's Battle of the Books? What's Battle of the Books?
So Battle of Books is where the students all have the same novel that they read, and they compete against other local schools. So for example, Union Ridge, Penoyer, and they meet at Eisenhower Library, and they read the books together, they work together as a group, and then they battle against the other schools.
Answering different questions.
Is it
about
like
the-
quiz or
It's
trivia?
yes, regarding the book.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks.
Discipline reports, Giles. Mrs. Ahrens.
We had one in-school suspension in violation of board policy 7:190, 7, 9, and 21. We had one in-school suspension in violation of board policy 7:190, 12, and 21. And one in-school suspension in violation of board policy 7:199.
Lee, Mrs. Parnell.
At Lee, we had one in-school suspension in violation of board policy 7:199.
Board committees. Ooh, monthly staffing report.
Yeah, you just have a copy of the monthly staffing report. There's nothing really there to report.
Thank you. Board committees, education, board policy development, behavioral intervention, negotiations, nothing to report. The committees of the whole, building and grounds, we're going to be hearing about later tonight in your discussion items. Communications, there is
So we sent, Mrs. Guzik sent out a draft of the newsletter, so if you could all take a look in your emails and, if you have any thoughts.
I did, and it looks great. I'm very
A couple
enthusiastic.
board members already responded.
That's good to see.
Would you like me to send that out?
Yeah.
Should I send it separate from the tracks, like a different day?
I feel like yes, just
So it
because
gives a different
there's a lot of
Yeah.
information, so.
Good idea, because otherwise people, if they get known to the weekly tracks, then it gets lost along that, whereas a separate new communication could get noticed in a better way. And just to know, in a future communications letter, are we going to spotlight the STEAM labs or other new things like that? Media center?
Yeah, that's the intent, to continue to highlight some of the work that's going on here. Because parents might not be aware because they have any buildings.
Yeah, that's good.
So how about, the Monday after spring break, like April 1st? Does that work? I mean, then it's away from the tracks, so it'll be a separate time. So I don't know. Thank you.
And, Norwich Park District, nothing new. Unless you have any.
I do not.
Okay, discussion items. Mrs. Buzik.
Great, thank you. So our belief theme in District 80 for March focuses on self-care and mindfulness. It's really important for all of us to take time to take care of our bodies, hearts, and our minds. Today, as one of our highlights of the month of March, we had a Teachers Institute Day. As you know, it's election day. The election is going on at Lee. So we were all here today at Giles. And we had a wonderful presentation by our administration staff at the beginning about bullying. And kind of took off from where we had left off with Jody, but then we got much more detailed about processes and steps that we take within the district. Also looked at the new bullying law that is out and kind of highlighted some of the Title IX changes that are due out in June. And then after that, NAMI, who I spoke about earlier, had two different presentations that one group saw and then we switched. The first one was about mental illness, youth mental illness, which was here in the gym. Talked about different scenarios and different ways to help support youth and just how to approach mental illness. And then up in the LMC, they had two individuals who did a program that's called In Our Own Voice, which are two adults who suffer from mental illness. And they shared their journeys through school, through up to this point in their lives with their illnesses. And like they talked a lot about what schools can do, what teachers can do, what individuals can do, and how we can approach mental illness and like positive things we can say to help support. It was definitely in the session I was in, a very moving session, a lot of people crying. Really, it was very emotional and such brave individuals who shared all of their journeys with us. So a really impactful day, and hopefully our teachers felt that connection into their self-care and their mindfulness, which is our theme of March. Moving on to our school resource officer, we have a draft contract with Norwich. However, yesterday when I saw Brian, Chief Goss, at the meeting that I mentioned earlier, we may have a little problem with an SRO officer for next year. They had someone drop out of the academy, and they may not be able to have a physical person for us next year. Because what they need to do is bring on another member for the police department in order to have a seasoned member be our SRO. So we're going to move forward with the contract, with the intergovernmental agreement, and we don't know for sure yet that it's a no, but I've highlighted for you in my report today some of the ideas that we put in the contract as our benefits, which was mostly about fostering personal relationships between law enforcement and students, families, providing schools and families with a resource for law enforcement and social issues, assist in prevention educational programs for the district, so they will help with a lot of our programs, so we'll be able to intervene with programs quicker because we don't have to contact the police department, have them come in, find a time that works, but they can work right that actual day with our students. Protect the students and staff from violations of the district policies, so they will assist with any violations that we have. They will provide traffic assistance at both schools. Mostly this will be at Lee at the beginning to help parents kind of train them on how to use the drop-off lines, the best ways to approach the school. Also, as I mentioned this past week in the tracks, I've really been out there noticing at like 8 o'clock even to like 8:06, Lee is pretty empty. Like parents, I'm encouraging to start dropping off earlier. Because if you drop off at Lee at 8 and you still need to get to Giles, that gives you 20 more minutes to get there, which is plenty of time. to get from the two buildings. But they would be able to assist with traffic assistance. And I'm not talking about tickets here, although tickets would be possible. And then promote effective communication within the community. So once we have a draft of that intergovernmental agreement finalized, a meeting with Chief Goss on Friday, I'll send it out to the board members and you can take a look at it. But it looks pretty exciting. And we're just being very hopeful right now that it all comes through for next year. Any questions on that? Norwich Kindness Day, want to highlight that on April 20th. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at Lee School. PTA is sponsoring, along with the school district, some rock painting, which we're pretty excited about. I'm looking forward to that event. So everyone mark your calendars. There's a website up on Norwich Kindness Day, and I believe it's Norwich and Howard Heights, so please forgive me there. And there's a lot of different activities going on around the community. Our district policy update, we are still waiting for the update from 113. As you recall, we passed that last month, and we are expecting 114 to be out. It was supposed to be out in March. I'm now putting March, April on that, because it isn't out yet. We should be seeing that soon. District finances, just sharing with you that the district bond that we took out about 36 months ago is now used, which we had 36 months to use that 1.4 million. And we've done well and done really great work with that. The generators are finally in. We've done a lot of work on updating many of our systems here in the district. We're very happy about that, and our fire panels and our generators, and just putting through a lot of our updates. We're expecting our chillers later on in this month, if not the first week of April, to be delivered, and just really moving forward. Which you have a copy of today. The board has a copy of the single audit from Whiffley, our audit company. There were no findings on our single audit, which we're really happy about, and you have that copy of that report. The Finance Committee is looking at having a meeting within the board meeting in May to review the amended budget. We are proposing to amend the budget. Just as a reminder, the reason we are amending the budget is that we have an excess amount of grant funds this year that we were not expecting. Specifically, another $265,000 for PFA, which we've opened up additional seats in our preschool program. And there was additional money in title that was pulled over into our title funds as well. So we're going to just be amending the budget for those areas of the grants, not looking at every fund. And we're looking and talking about a preview of that in May at the regular May board meeting, and then in June to have the hearing to amend the budget. The May board meeting, which is on consent tonight, I am proposing that we have that on May 14th. Two reasons. I need a 30-day window between the May board meeting and the June board meeting so that we can post it for the amended budget. And also on May 21st, we'll be in Washington, D.C. Moving forward to buildings and grounds, we have the admin office area is still being worked on. Today they put in the steel panel that will hold the curb and the RTU that will be going up on the roof during spring break. It is painted, so after this we need to get the ceiling grid in where they drop in all the ceiling tiles, and then we're looking at the floor, and then we're pretty much done. So we should be done with this project by, let's say, the 1st of May. We've already been planning our summer work. In summer work, we're looking at 1st and 2nd grade classrooms and furniture. So this week in 1st and 2nd grade at Lee, which will be approximately 10 classrooms and 2 special education classrooms, we're looking at updating all the furniture, painting the rooms, updating all of the clock systems, the alarm systems that are in those rooms, and lights, all the lights. So kind of the same we did in preschool. We went on to kindergarten and 4th grade. We'll be moving along to 1st and 2nd grade. We are prioritizing outside maintenance for the summer work to make sure that our outside fields and areas look perfect during the summer months. We are also going to be just doing a slight little facelift to the Lee conference room. The Lee conference room that used to be the principal's office, we're just going to be taking down the paneling in there, painting that room, moving a little bit into what used to be an old bathroom that we decommissioned, taking that wall out. So just a little bit of reworking in there. And then we really want to focus on Giles hallway painting and Lee hallway painting. We need a lot of painting in the hallway. I have heard word this week, I received on the Giles infrastructure letter, we were waiting for a letter from the IRS to prove that we were a tax exempt entity. So the letter did come in, we submitted that to the infrastructure people in the state of Illinois, and they did send me a form to sign. I think we're almost there. And this is a payback program. So what we have in there are the lentil area at Giles, which is that area in the back playground that if you look at the building, it kind of overhangs in the building. It's not structural because there's a steel beam in there that holds that all up, but there's more of a decorative limestone piece underneath there that is starting to corrode and have some issues. So we need to fix that. That's part of the infrastructure grant. That 5th grade ceiling, which is actually part of life safety as well, needs to be addressed. And then we put some other safety issues at Giles, infrastructure safety issues. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we're at the last stage of that, which was $175,000.
Is that the wooden ceiling or whatever?
Right. The wooden ceiling.
It was actually, it was when the newer 10-year life safety study was finished by SDR 2 years ago. It was presented to the board, and that was one of the more prominent life safety correctives needed. It was presented as something we really need to do something about because you're not supposed to have a good ceiling. So it's pretty good to be addressing it.
But it's not safe.
Yeah.
So we are going to be addressing that with, there are 2 different ways we can go with it. We can use a very special paint and basically paint over that and kind of encompass all the wood, which is a process, but it is a process we can do. Or we can take it down and then look at what that space, we are feeling there's a lot of space up there, and we can kind of make that ceiling up higher. That was lowered when we did the soundproofing abatement at Giles. However, the only thing we're unsure of, and we're really not going to know until we start taking down some pieces, is if there's asbestos. If we're looking at an asbestos removal, then obviously that'll put the cost up pretty good. So that will probably decide which way that we will go if we look at painting, which we can do the painting, it's just not going to be as attractive because that paint is a real thick paint.
It's fire retardant.
Yes. So we can go that way, because if it's asbestos, it's probably best just to contain it all. Because if you don't touch asbestos, it's fine. Once you take it down and start, looking around there, then that's when you have to treat it. So we don't know the answer of that one yet, but we're working on that. So moving forward with buildings and grounds, a lot of work going on. Just legislative update, I only have one thing on here. I've spoken to you previously about the Cook County paid leave ordinance. This ordinance is similar to the one that was passed in the state, except the state paid leave ordinance did exclude schools. Basically, this ordinance says that all individuals working with Cook County, they have to work a certain number of hours and then they receive a certain number of paid leave time. Like you work 40 hours, you get 1 hour of paid leave time. So there is some legislation out there that it has some good legs of moving to have schools not included. One thing that they did do so far is they have moved this up to next year. Because originally when they passed it was starting immediately and now it's starting next year. So we're still following this. I think I know, Frank, I've sent something to you about reaching out to, I don't know if you ever did that. I've certainly been reaching out to the Cook County Board to encourage them to pass it, as well as to our legislators. And finally, definitely with the follow-up in future. Last month, the board asked me to look into some soccer games that could be considered home games for us, which would be played at Ridgewood. We were able to get one game on the schedule, April 29th this year. Ridgewood will look out for next year, but it's a very busy time in the spring at Ridgewood. But if we can get some other games there, we'll try. We have submitted the food service bid to ISB, to the Illinois State Board of Education. We're waiting for their approval. Once that's out, then we will put that out to bid. We are hoping that we get at least a couple of people bidding on a food service bid, our food service program for next year. And then we are looking at hiring some summer buildings and grounds workers. This would be for mostly the painting that's done, some of the outside maintenance. And that is my report.
With the soccer games, has it ever been considered to do something with that front field at Lee? Would we be able to create a soccer field there?
It's the same issue where we have some drainage. We have caps out there,
Oh, is there?
so it's the same issue, and it's not flat. We would have to grade that area and then look at the water, how that all works. Water just breeds a lot of caps. But it's something I certainly could have B&G look into and see if the soccer field would fit, in that space. That would be considered a home game.
And just kind of pretty up that front area of Lee a little bit too. I know we talked about it.
Yeah.
The other, the lead parking situation, drop off, was really initially a hot topic. The idea of taking the fence and moving it in about 20 feet into the field and setting on asphalt and providing another 20 parking spots. Wasn't a lot. That got brought up again, but like she said, you just brought up water. That idea of expanding into the field, and once you set down flat asphalt, or let's say it was concrete, the problem is water, and you can't do that without getting a consent or the approval of the water reclamation district, is it?
Right.
And because you need to expand your sewage system or storm drain system, and that's a huge cost. So
I believe that was $400,000 to make that additional lane, which would alleviate some of the parking, but it would not solve
correct.
all of the issues that are going on there. But yes, that is true. And that was just an architect prediction.
Yeah.
We really got into it looking at, because what we need to then is hook into the deep sewers.
Yeah, that was the big sticking point. But we should try to do this. That front field. So,
We do use it at recess, but
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying.
okay, consent agenda. I need a motion to approve 13A through 13K.
Motion.
Molly and Maria. And I get to roll call.
Mrs. Deck?
Yes.
Mrs. Lala?
Yes.
Mrs. Theodore?
Yes.
Mrs. McPhillips?
Yes.
Mrs. Urbach Barnfield? Mr. Trabuzio?
Yes, the motion passes. Any board comments?
Yeah, I have one. So myself and a couple of the other board members actually attended the event that was at Ridgewood for the anti-bullying event. That Jody was amazing, and it's a shame that there weren't as many more people participating and attending, but she still held her ground and, kicked it in high gear. She's local, so if we could try and get her back, that might be something I don't know, the 100 points I think you're offering. I don't think that's working, so, but it's just, I encourage all parents, to really, even if you don't think your child has a bullying issue going on, it can flip on a dime. And I encourage everybody to try and get a better understanding of what school is like now versus like when I went to school, for example, when there was no power, according to my kids. So I thought it was great that we were co-sponsoring it, and I got a lot out of it.
Thank you for attending. We had about 20 parents there.
Maybe, it's a good suggestion. If she could come back or another assembly of that sort, but make it a surprise, because I think, well, I know of a couple students who thought of it as, I don't really have to show up, I know it's gonna happen, I want to hear that. So you make it a surprise, big event, hey, we're gonna have a guest speaker, it's gonna be fun, and then spring that out. Now, closed session. I need a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, and review of closed session minutes. Can I have a motion?
Second.
Annie, Amanda, roll call, please.
Mrs. Theodore,
Yes.
Mrs. McPhillips,
Yes.
Mrs. Urbach Barnfield,
Yes.
Mrs. Deck,
Yes.
Mrs. Lala,
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzzi.
Yes, the motion passes. We will meet in,
We make a temperature.
we're gonna meet in conference session at, what's the time?
10:16.
10:16.
10:16. Moving on to 16 action items. Consider approval of the resolution for non-renewal and dismissal of first through third year probationary teachers from Norwich School District 80. Adil Alal, Lauren Argeni, Amy Rico, Anat Gantz, Michael Glassman, and Anna Asowska. Can I get a motion?
Motion. Second.
Bang. Your roll call?
Mrs. Theodore,
Yes.
Mrs. Deck,
Yes.
Mrs. McPhillips,
Yes.
Mrs. Urbach Barnfield,
Yes.
Mrs. Lala,
Yes.
Mr. Berardi.
Trabuzzi.
Trabuzzi.
Yes. The motion passes. 17, personnel consent agenda. A1 through A7. Can I get a motion? Maria?
Second.
Amanda?
Mrs. Lala,
Yes.
Mrs. McPhillips,
Yes.
Mrs. Urbach Barnfield,
Yes.
Mrs. Deck,
Yes.
Mrs. Theodore,
Yes.
Mr. Trabuzzi.
Yes. The motion passes. I think we completed our board meeting reflection. Yes, we did.
Yes.
I need a motion to adjourn this meeting at,
Motion.
Second.
wait, I need a motion to adjourn this meeting at 10:17. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The meeting is now adjourned.